Thank you for joining us in today's episode of Tony's Tech Tuesday. In this episode, I'll be showing you how to install a rear rack. Before we get started, in the first scene that you saw in this video, we showed you the different mounting hardware. Just note that there's two sets of screws. There's a short one and a longer set. The short ones go on the bottom set of holes and the longer ones go on the top. And the reason why you don't want to use the longer ones in the bottom, because they can stick out of the dropout, and you see it can interfere with the chain and the shifting. So just make sure that you're using the short one in the bottom and the longer ones in the top, and we'll get started on the installation. It doesn't really matter. You can start at the top or you can start at the bottom. I like to start at the bottom. It's just easier for me. And then you'll also notice there's two sets of screws. For the rack, you're going to use the upper set. The lower set is for fenders if you have that or plan on installing there. So it's gonna look just like this. The second thing we want to pay extreme attention to is always start by hand. So you minimize the chance of any cross threading or any kind of damage to the threads. You can even chase it through, and if you are really having a pickle of a time like I am right now, you can chase it through the backside if you want to take the wheel off. And the reason why it can be a little bit stiff sometimes is the paint. These frames are painted and the paint can get in the threads. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just basically using the screw to clean up the threads inside. And it's easier to do this without the weight of the rack in the way. So that should be sufficient. And I'm going to do this on the other side. All right, so now that we've got our threads cleaned up here, we're going to go ahead and install it with the screw and by hand. Just like that. And what I'm using is a 4mm Allen. And then also, just for technique wise, don't tighten everything up yet. You might need to have things a little bit loose and make some adjustments. So it's better to keep things a little bit loose. In by hand, and we're just gonna do a few turns with the tool, still keeping everything loose because I want to be able to move things around and make some adjustments if I need to. We're going to get our two longer screws and washers. Always remember to place the washer on before you thread it. That's it. Once we've got everything threaded, screwed, everything looks like it's good, we're just going to go through and tighten up all the little fasteners now and just make sure everything's dialed. And that's it. That's how we get the rear rack installed on a ZiZZO bike.